Pilate's secret report. Shocking evidence of Jesus' resurrection hidden for centuries. In the dusty corridors of history, Pontius Pilate remains a figure of intrigue and infamy, a Roman governor trapped between the weight of imperial duty and the divine destiny of a carpenter from Nazareth. His name is etched into the annals of the Christian faith as the man who condemned Jesus Christ to death. But what if there's more to his story? What if Pilate, the very symbol of Roman authority, revealed truths that were hidden for centuries? A mysterious document, purportedly written by Pilate himself and addressed to Emperor Tiberius, claims to recount the miracles, trial, crucifixion, and resurrection of Jesus. This report has sparked fiery debates among scholars, theologians, and skeptics. Some hail it as a glimpse into the Roman perspective of Christ's life and death, while others dismiss it as a Christian embellishment. Yet the tale it tells is nothing short of extraordinary, and its implications are profound. This is the story of Pilate's report and the truths it may unveil, a narrative of political intrigue, divine encounters, and the enduring tension between faith and power. If you found this topic as fascinating as we do, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more captivating explorations of history, theology, and philosophy. Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective on this enduring mystery. 1. The report of Pilate to Emperor Tiberius. Imagine the tension within. The governor's palace in Jerusalem. Pontius Pilate, the Roman prefect of Judea, burdened by years of overseeing a volatile and rebellious province, picks up his stylus to compose a letter destined for the imperial court in Rome. Addressed to Emperor Tiberius, ruler of the vast Roman Empire, this letter purportedly documents events that Pilate himself could scarcely comprehend. Events that stirred unrest, inspired awe, and left him haunted by his role in their unfolding. At the heart of this report lies the life, teachings, trial, and crucifixion of Jesus of Nazareth. The report of Pilate, as it has come to be known in historical and theological circles, is referenced by early Christian apologists, such as Justin Martyr and Tertullian. These early church fathers claimed that Pilate recorded the details of Jesus' extraordinary deeds and submitted them to the Roman archives. Allegedly, the letter describes Jesus as a figure of miraculous power and moral authority, whose life and death deeply affected the people of Judea. Whether genuine or apocryphal, the letter provides a fascinating lens through which to explore the intricate interplay of politics, faith, and imperial governance. The content of Pilate's letter, as alleged by these early references, paints a vivid picture of Jesus, whom the governor describes as no ordinary man. Pilate recounts Jesus' ability to perform miracles that confounded even the most skeptical witnesses. Acts such as healing the sick, restoring sight to the blind, and even raising the dead are said to have captivated multitudes, causing an unprecedented stir in the province. These supernatural occurrences elevated Jesus to a status that Pilate could not ignore. Beyond his miraculous deeds, the letter purportedly portrays Jesus as a figure of profound wisdom and unparalleled serenity. Pilate remarks on the calm dignity with which Jesus conducted himself, even in the face of death, a composure that stood in stark contrast to the chaotic forces surrounding him. Jealous religious leaders, fervent crowds, and a Roman administration struggling to maintain control. According to the report, Jesus' teachings offered a vision of a kingdom not founded on military conquest, but on principles of love, forgiveness, and divine justice, challenging the very fabric of contemporary political and religious structures. One of the most striking aspects of Pilate's alleged account is his description of Jesus' trial. More than a mere legal proceeding, it was a politically charged spectacle reflecting the complex dynamics between Roman authority and Jewish religious leadership. Pilate's letter purportedly reveals his personal anguish over the role he was forced to play in condemning Jesus, a decision fraught with political pressure and moral uncertainty. As a pragmatic administrator, Pilate recognized the precariousness of his position. The Jewish leaders who brought Jesus to him accused the man of claiming to be the King of the Jews, a title that implied rebellion against Roman rule. Yet Pilate reportedly found no evidence to substantiate the charge. His observations of Jesus led him to conclude that this was not a revolutionary, but a spiritual leader whose message transcended earthly politics. Despite Pilate's initial resistance to condemning Jesus, the mounting pressure from the Jewish authorities and the restless population forced his hand. The Gospel accounts describe how Pilate symbolically washed his hands before the crowd, signifying his unwillingness to bear the guilt of Jesus' death. The letter, if authentic, underscores Pilate's regret and his sense of powerlessness in the face of events beyond his control. In vivid detail, Pilate's purported letter recounts the crucifixion itself. He describes the mocking of Jesus by Roman soldiers, the agonizing journey to Golgotha, and the execution on a cross, a punishment reserved for the empire's most notorious criminals. Yet, even in death, Jesus is depicted as extraordinary. Pilate reportedly notes unusual natural phenomena surrounding the crucifixion, darkness covering the land, and an earthquake shaking the city. These events, combined with the profound impact of Jesus' words from the cross, left a lasting impression on Pilate and those who witnessed them. The aftermath of the crucifixion, as described in the report, is equally compelling. Pilate allegedly recounts how rumors of Jesus' resurrection began to circulate just days after his burial. These claims spread rapidly among Jesus' followers, fueling tensions in Judea. The letter conveys Pilate's astonishment at the resilience and fervor of Jesus' disciples, who remained undeterred by their leader's death, a testament to the profound influence of his life and message. The authenticity of the report of Pilate has been a topic of debate for centuries. Skeptics argue that the letter is a Christian fabrication, crafted to lend credibility to the gospel narratives by appealing to Roman authority. They cite its alignment with Christian theology and the absence of corroborating evidence in Roman historical records as reasons for doubt. Proponents, however, point to its early references in Christian writings. Justin Martyr, in his first apology, circa 150 AD, explicitly mentions Pilate's report, urging Emperor Antoninus Pius to consult the Roman archives for verification. Tertullian, writing a few decades later, makes similar appeals. While no definitive copy of the letter has been found, the consistent references to its existence in early Christian literature suggest that such a document may have been known in antiquity. Regardless of its origins, the report of Pilate occupies a unique place in historical and theological imagination. It bridges the worlds of Roman imperial administration and the nascent Christian faith, offering a glimpse into how Jesus might have been perceived by those outside his immediate circle of followers. To fully understand Pilate's reported actions and reflections, one must consider the broader context of first-century Judea, a hotbed of tension where religious fervor, political aspirations, and Roman oppression collided. In his letter, Pilate reportedly laments the challenges of governing such a volatile region. Jerusalem, the spiritual heart of Judaism, was teeming with pilgrims, zealots, and religious leaders fiercely protective of their traditions. The Jewish population, deeply resentful of Roman rule, viewed their occupiers as pagan intruders desecrating their sacred land. Pilate's resources were limited, his troops stretched thin, and his authority continually undermined by the cultural and religious divide. Amid this turmoil, Jesus emerged as a figure who defied categorization. To the Romans, his growing popularity and claims of kingship were a cause for concern. To the Jewish leaders, his teachings and actions were blasphemous and disruptive. For Pilate, Jesus represented a paradox, a man whose spiritual message transcended politics, yet whose influence threatened to destabilize the fragile peace. The figure of Pontius Pilate remains one of history's most enigmatic characters. In Christian tradition, he is often vilified as the man who sentenced Jesus to death. Yet, the report of Pilate, whether historical or apocryphal, portrays him in a more nuanced light. It reveals a man caught between the demands of empire and the stirrings of a divine mystery he could not fully grasp. Pilate's reported words to Emperor Tiberius offer a timeless reflection on the intersection of power, faith, and human frailty. They remind us that even the most powerful figures in history are subject to forces beyond their control, forces that shape the course of events in ways they can scarcely imagine. Whether viewed as a historical document or a theological artifact, the report of Pilate continues to inspire fascination and debate, shedding light on one of the most pivotal moments in human history. 2. The Enigma of Jesus. Pilate's description. What did Pontius Pilate truly perceive when Jesus of Nazareth stood before him? The purported report of Pilate to Emperor Tiberius offers a striking description of Jesus, one that has sparked debate and fascination for centuries. Pilate is said to have described Jesus as possessing a celestial presence, with golden hair, a serene demeanor, and a countenance radiating peace. This vivid portrayal, unparalleled among ancient records, raises profound questions. Was this an authentic observation by Pilate, a man perplexed by the events unfolding before him, or an embellishment by early Christian scribes seeking to emphasize Jesus' divine nature? The description of Jesus as calm and radiant is particularly poignant when contrasted with the turmoil surrounding his trial. Pilate, as the governor of Judea, was accustomed to dealing with insurrectionists, zealots, and criminals. Those who typically stood before him bore the marks of defiance, desperation, or fear. Jesus, however, was different. According to the purported report, Pilate observed his serene composure and piercing wisdom. Despite being mocked, beaten, and humiliated, Jesus maintained an unshakable peace, a stark contrast to the chaos around him. This composure likely unsettled Pilate. The Jewish leaders, driven by fear and anger, were adamant that Jesus posed a grave threat to their religious and social order. The crowds, whipped into a frenzy, demanded his execution. The Roman soldiers, indifferent to the moral or theological implications of the trial, carried out their duties with routine brutality. Yet, amid the uproar, Jesus remained composed, speaking with a calm authority that seemed incongruous with his circumstances. Pilate's depiction of Jesus as otherworldly may reflect the governor's internal struggle. Was this man merely a charismatic teacher with an uncanny ability to influence the masses? Or was there something genuinely divine about him? This question seems to have haunted Pilate, shaping his actions during the trial and lingering in his thoughts long afterward. The Gospels and the purported report reveal a man caught between two irreconcilable forces: the demands of imperial rule and the weight of his conscience. Pilate, as a Roman governor, was a pragmatist. His primary duty was to maintain order in a volatile province. Yet his interactions with Jesus seem to have stirred something deeper, a recognition that he was dealing with an extraordinary individual. When Jesus was brought before him, accused of claiming to be the king of the Jews, Pilate's initial reaction was skepticism. The charge of kingship carried serious implications under Roman law, as it suggested rebellion against Caesar. Yet Jesus did not fit the profile of a political agitator. Pilate questioned him directly, asking, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus' response, "My kingdom is not of this world," must have confounded the governor. Here was a man who, despite being accused of treason, spoke of a kingdom that was spiritual rather than political. Further questioning revealed the depth of Jesus' wisdom. One of the most famous exchanges, recorded in the Gospels and possibly reflected in the purported report, involves Jesus' teaching on authority and responsibility. When asked about paying taxes to Caesar, Jesus replied, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's." This statement, while affirming the legitimacy of earthly authority, subtly elevated divine authority above all else. Pilate, a seasoned administrator, likely recognized the brilliance of this answer. It diffused the political charge of the accusation while affirming a higher moral order. Pilate's growing conviction that Jesus was innocent led him to seek ways to release him. According to Gospel accounts and the purported report, Pilate declared to the Jewish leaders and the crowd, "I find no fault in this man." However, his attempts to free Jesus were met with fierce resistance. The Jewish leaders insisted that Jesus' claims posed a direct threat to Roman authority, leveraging the title King of the Jews to force Pilate's hand. They even insinuated that releasing Jesus would amount to disloyalty to Caesar. In an effort to placate the crowd, Pilate offered a compromise. It was customary during the Passover festival to release a prisoner chosen by the people. Pilate presented them with a choice: Jesus or Barabbas, a known insurrectionist and murderer. To Pilate's astonishment, the crowd demanded Barabbas. Their rejection of Jesus in favor of a violent criminal must have bewildered the governor, who likely expected them to choose the teacher and healer over the rebel. Faced with mounting pressure and the threat of political unrest, Pilate made a decision that would resonate through history. He ordered Jesus to be scourged, perhaps hoping that this severe punishment would satisfy the crowd and spare Jesus from execution. Yet the crowd's demands for crucifixion only grew louder. The Jewish leaders, sensing Pilate's hesitation, pressed their case further, warning that allowing Jesus to live would be seen as a betrayal of Rome. In a final dramatic gesture, Pilate symbolically washed his hands before the crowd, declaring, "I am innocent of this man's blood. See to it yourselves." This act, recorded in the Gospels and echoed in the purported report, was an attempt to distance himself from the moral and spiritual consequences of his decision. Yet it also revealed the depth of his inner conflict. Pilate knew he was condemning an innocent man, but the pragmatic realities of governance left him little choice. The decision to crucify Jesus did not bring Pilate peace. According to the purported report, he remained haunted by the events of that day. The description of Jesus as a figure of celestial presence and profound wisdom seems to have lingered in Pilate's mind, challenging his understanding of authority, justice, and truth. The natural phenomena reportedly accompanying Jesus' death, darkness over the land and an earthquake, would only have deepened Pilate's unease. In his letter to Tiberius, Pilate is said to have expressed regret and confusion. He described Jesus as an enigma, a man whose presence defied explanation and whose teachings transcended earthly concerns. Pilate's reflections suggest he recognized, at least in part, the significance of the events he had been caught up in. Whether he viewed Jesus as divine or as an extraordinary human being, the trial and crucifixion left an indelible mark on his conscience. The depiction of Jesus in the purported report has shaped theological and artistic representations of him for centuries. The image of a serene, radiant figure standing resolutely amid chaos resonates deeply with the Christian understanding of Jesus as both fully human and fully divine. Pilate's description, whether authentic or embellished, underscores the profound impact Jesus had on those who encountered him. For Pilate, the encounter with Jesus was a moment of profound moral and spiritual significance. His actions during the trial reveal the tension between his role as a Roman administrator and his personal sense of justice. The celestial presence, he described, reflects not only Jesus' extraordinary nature, but also Pilate's struggle to comprehend the mystery before him. Ultimately, Pilate's interactions with Jesus remain a powerful testament to the complexities of human conscience and the enduring mystery of the divine. His description of Jesus as otherworldly challenges us to consider how we might respond when faced with the extraordinary, the enigmatic, and the eternal. 3. The Pilate Stone. Archaeological evidence. In 1960, archaeologists unearthed a groundbreaking artifact that linked Pontius Pilate to history in a tangible way. The Pilate Stone, discovered in Caesarea Maritima, is a limestone inscription dedicated to Emperor Tiberius. It identifies Pilate as the prefect of Judea, directly confirming his role in the events surrounding Jesus' crucifixion. This discovery marked a milestone for biblical archaeology, providing physical evidence of Pilate's existence and his position in Judea. The Pilate Stone serves as a powerful reminder that the figures and events described in the New Testament are not merely the stuff of legend. They are deeply rooted in historical reality. For centuries, Pilate's existence had been known primarily through literary sources like the Gospels, the writings of Josephus, and Roman historians such as Tacitus. The discovery of this artifact transformed Pilate from a shadowy figure of faith into a concrete presence in history. Pontius Pilate's role in the crucifixion of Jesus has cemented his place as a symbol of moral compromise and human frailty. His actions, as described in the purported report to Tiberius and the Gospels, highlight the enduring tension between political expediency and personal conviction. Pilate's ultimate decision to condemn Jesus, despite his apparent belief in Jesus' innocence, underscores the complexity of his character and the moral dilemmas he faced. For centuries, Pilate has been vilified as a coward who capitulated to the will of the mob. Yet his story is also one of a man grappling with forces beyond his control, forces of faith, power, and destiny. In this light, Pilate becomes a mirror for humanity, reflecting our own struggles with fear, doubt, and the weight of difficult choices. His narrative invites us to examine the moments when we, too, are faced with decisions that test our integrity. The story of Pilate and Jesus transcends its historical setting. It is a narrative that resonates with audiences across cultures and generations, offering timeless lessons about morality, leadership, and the cost of choices made under pressure. Whether or not Pilate's report to Tiberius is authentic, its themes remain universal. It speaks to the enduring power of faith, the complexities of human nature, and the profound legacy of one man's life and death. For American audiences, Pilate's tale offers a poignant reflection on the fragile balance between power and conscience, a tension that remains deeply relevant today. It serves as a reminder of the consequences of moral compromise and the enduring struggle to align personal convictions with societal pressures. Pilate's story challenges us to reflect on the choices we make and the legacies we leave behind. As we consider Pilate's revelation, we are left with an unsettling yet timeless question. What would we have done in his place? Would we have stood firm in the face of injustice, risking everything for the sake of truth? Or would we, like Pilate, have succumbed to fear and self-preservation? The answer may reveal as much about ourselves as it does about the man who symbolically washed his hands of history.